everyone. So, Louise, I'll come to you first. What did you think of Molly's performance?
So Molly, first off, I've got to applaud you for taking my note last week about the piano and trying something different rather than just chords, because you did add in, you know, little parts in between your chords. So I've got to applaud you for doing that, so well done. The song was perfect for you. I think, you know, it really suited you. Your voice sat lovely in it. You kind of flowed through it and it was almost effortless. So I've got to applaud you for that. One thing I would say, although it was a lovely vocal, really be careful with tempo, because as you were going through, and I don't know whether it was because maybe you were thinking about what came next on the piano or looking at what your next chord was or something, but the tempo tended to change multiple times throughout. It was like you kind of raced through the chorus, and then the verses were a bit slower and you took your time, and it was only slightly, but it was noticeable. So just be really aware of tempo and try and, you know, keep the same tempo throughout the song. But like I say, it was a lovely vocal, and well done for taking the note about the piano. Well done.
Kelly?
I loved your voice on this song. I thought it was a really, really pretty vocal. I love like the thickness that you've got and the amount that you pushed that power out. It was really, really clean. The piano sounded so much better. It was just a vast improvement on your piano skills this week as well. And I think I've got to commend you on the fact that, you know, you didn't sort of like chicken out and just sing along to a track. You actually took the time and not only learned a new song, but you learned it on the piano as well. So I think you need like a huge like round of applause just for that. And it was a really, really pretty vocal. I think you should be really impressed with what you did. Well done.
Yeah, Molly, I've been dying to hear you sing this song for a few weeks now, and I'm glad you took on the challenge and learnt the song and learnt it on piano. Of course, I did pick up that it was quite speeded up in places, so it wasn't flowing as well as I wanted to see it flow, but I couldn't have expected any more. You know, you chucked this song, you had to learn it on the piano and everything, so it didn't take anything too drastic away from it for me. Overall, I can't wait to see you re-perform this in a couple of years, because I'm glad you've done this just to look back and go, actually, wow, look how much I've grown. I feel like this is the performance that could do that for you. So definitely redo this in a couple of years' time. Obviously, watch the video back and we'll remember to do it again. But other than that, fantastic. Well done. You took on the challenge really, really well. So next, we're going to come to Dan. Louise, what do you think of Dan's performance?
Right, Dan, I'm going to throw a lot of information at you here. First off, the song in theory is perfect for you. Down to the ground, you could smash it. My issue was, I think you should have taken it down a key, even if it was just a semitone or two. Just because as you were reaching those top notes, they were slightly out of your range, or you weren't placing them properly, whatever the problem was, but it was going a bit flat, so it was a bit pitchy as you were going up there. And it sounded kind of really strained, like you were really pushing yourself to get there but didn't quite get there. And I was really looking forward to this performance, because I said to you weeks ago about this song, and I said, you know, I'd love to hear you sing that at one point. So when I had the chance to give it to you, I've been really looking forward to it, and I was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't awful, you know, all of the lower bits were really lovely, and it, like I say, it suits you down to the ground. It was just those strained bits that just went a bit pitchy. Good effort with the video. I like how adventurous you were with the video. But last point I'm going to say is about your mic. It was distorted, and I think in future you need to add a bit of reverb on it, because it was just kind of just plain hitting, and it was, like I say, it was distorted. I don't know whether, I mean, Kelly mentioned that it reminded her of like an old record player, so I don't know whether it was intentional and that's the vibe you were going for. If it was, then that's fair enough, but it still could have done with a little bit of reverb regardless. So just, you know, again, I know we've said it millions of times to people before, but listen to the performances back. If you'd listened to that back, I think you would have heard those pitchy bits and been able to fix them. And I think you would have heard the issue with the mic as well. But I mean, it was a good performance. It was a nice vocal, just a bit pitchy on the top end, but well done.
Kelly?
Yeah, when you first started, I mean, I love like this old school soulfulness that you've got to your voice, and I liked the way that the sound sounded this week as well, like the old record player, sort of jumpy. But I think like Louise said, we don't know if that was intentional. If it wasn't, it probably won't work on any other song apart from this, because it's kind of like, it's from that era, it's from that genre when it would have worked. So if it wasn't intentional, that's something that you're going to have to work on in the future. I do agree with Louise. I think it was in the wrong key for you. It really sounded like you were pushing right at the very top of your register, and that it was really, really uncomfortable for you to get there at times. But having said that, on the lower parts, it was absolutely beautiful. So if you had like sort of like looked at maybe lowering the track down a little bit, and you could have, you know, hit those other notes more comfortably, that song would have 100% showed you off at your best, I think, and you would have nailed it. So it's just something to take in, you know, for next time when you've got a song. If it doesn't feel right, ask yourself why, and then play about with it. Don't ever be afraid to sort of like change it up and play about with it.
Yeah, Dan, I mean, I think it's a tricky one. I suppose the girls agree that you, throughout this competition, you've been like one of the standouts, and we've always been like, oh my God, what's Dan going to do this week? What's Dan going to do? And fair play, you've been trying all these different styles and different things going on, and, you know, like the Frozen one, attempting new things, but we still got to be careful, remembering that this is a performance and it is being critiqued. And is going to decide whether you go through to the next part or not. So you've got to make sure they bang on. Overall, I think the trouble with the mic, I did mention last week that it was almost like a tin can. This week, I think what you've done, you've probably thought, right, I'm going to take it back now and I'm going to change it. So you've taken all the reverb or whatever it is you used back then to make it like a tin can away. And what have happened now is I think I've picked up today that I don't know if you're recording these videos through a recording mic, a condensed mic. And the thing is with a condensed mic, if you got your gain up too much on it, it'll start to have that crackiness on it, because a normal mic wouldn't do that. So I think you're using a condensed mic. You probably say if you are or not. So if you are, just turn your gain down on the system. Turn it down, and you won't have none of this like problem, right? Other than that, the song, I think maybe looking at pitches and stuff like that, because I think this just needed to go down a pitch and it would have been bang on. We were all looking forward to this song. So it was a little bit gutting to see that it weren't exactly what we thought was going to come out. But I think you do need to just look at these things a little bit more, because like I said, we think you're one of the standouts in this whole thing. But again, we've got to judge it on what we're seeing. And if you ain't bringing that standout to the front, we've got to judge it on what you're showing us. So just be really, really careful with that from here on out, all right? Other than that, well done. Right, so next up, we got Sam. So, Louise, what do you think of Sam's performance?
Sam, I've got to really give you props this week, because it was a very, very obscure choice for you. It's probably something that you would have literally flicked past, you know, if you'd seen it and never tried it. But we wanted to hear you do this for the reasons that you showed us, really. You showed us different sides to your voice, that softness at the beginning and the just purity and control of your voice this week. It was by far, for me, your best performance of the season. And to be honest, probably the most controlled I've ever heard you, even going back to when you did VOTV. It was more controlled, it was purer sound. And that top note was lovely and clean, so I'm glad you fixed the ending on that, because it really made a difference. And yeah, like I said, I think it was your best performance that I've ever heard from you vocally, so I've got to say well done.
Kel?
Yeah, I agree. It was my favourite performance of yours, definitely. I love the fact that you're learning to sort of like hold back your voice and not, you know, sort of like have to push everything so that everything's sort of like one level. You're learning to get that sort of like light and shade, and that's so effective, especially when you're singing a song like you took on this evening. I just love the fact that you're finding yourself this season. I feel like we're really starting to see Sam shine through now. You've sort of stepped away from the same old sort of genre that you were doing, sort of like the musical theatre, and you're taking on, like Louise said, really obscure song choices. And the thing is, they're really, really working for you. So I think this should give you a confidence boost now that you can take from this, and you can go and look at songs that you wouldn't probably normally do and think, oh, I'm going to give that a try and see if it suits my voice, because I think you've proven to us tonight that you are capable of taking a song and making it work in your advantage. So just keep on doing what you're doing, because you're just doing amazing so far. But that was by far my favourite of yours. Well done.
Yeah, Sam, I think you should be really, really proud of yourself, because like, what we are seeing, like, we're still seeing you grow at the moment, and there's no denying that, but what we are seeing, especially the last couple of weeks, is you, for me personally, finding the best part of who you are as a vocalist. And like I said, there's still a long way to go, especially with that upper register. You still need to get that, you know, bang on, but overall, this was probably the best I've seen of you this season so far, in terms of vocal and what you bring into the camera. So well done to you. All right. And then the last one up for Louise's category is Zoe. So Louise, what do you think of Zoe's performance?
Yeah, Zoe, first off, just so everyone knows, obviously I changed your song this week. So it's been quite a tricky week for you, because I know you went away and you learnt the Johnny Cash song. And you sang it to me in your lesson in the week, and it just, and you know, I'll hold my hands up and say that we were probably wrong giving you that song choice. It just didn't work. So I gave you this other song, and you still, you know, you didn't know it, so you still had to go away and learn it, same as everyone else had to learn a new song. And what I've written here is wow. I think this is your standout performance of the season so far. It was just so perfectly executed. You tried so many new things with your voice, and this is what we've been trying to get out of you every week. So I'm so glad this week, you know, you've really gone for it. You know, you've given us those high, like, kind of whistly tones, and brought your falsetto into it. You've given us this really eerie, lovely, soft, breathy tone in the verses. You've given us belts. You've given us everything we could possibly want in this one performance. And honestly, I've literally wrote, wow, you should be so, so proud of yourself, because you, at the end of the day, you learnt that in a day, and you performed it like that. So massive well done, and keep going like this.
Kel?
Definitely a moment for you. I think because you took a song which is just, it doesn't offer much in terms of the original. It's a great song, you sing it and everybody sings along. It's one of those songs, but it doesn't offer much in terms of like vocal. And you took that song and you completely revamped it, and you made it something really, really special, because you added in so much to it. Things that you probably wouldn't realise you could do with that song. You just showed such a level of maturity and creativity in what you did. I think the riffs that you added on your belt were absolutely beautiful, and we haven't really seen that from you at all. I think the song showed off your range, from that you've got this amazing lower register, is so, so beautiful, but then when you flip into your falsetto as well, that was equally as beautiful. And I think you just showed off everything that you can do. You showed off so much variety, so much versatility, and just you put everything that you could into that performance. And now this is definitely a step in the right direction for you. You've got so much to give. You've got such an amazing talent, and you should just be so thrilled with what you were able to do with that. It was just brilliant. Well done.
Zoe, yeah, I mean, I'm sat here listening to the compliments from the girls, and I'm just like, in all honesty, this was, for me personally, this was the stand-up performance this week. But not only that, in terms of you as a singer, this is probably the best vocal I've ever heard from you, in terms of what you can do with your voice, because like we've seen you belt, we've seen you do all these different things. One of the previous performances a few weeks ago where we were all on about your lower edge and stuff, but this give us everything just across the board like that. And yeah, it was definitely a big moment for you. And I think in terms of what we've been saying about just letting yourself go, don't be frightened of some of these bigger notes or how you get into them, and that is making a drastic change. And this week is the like epiphany of it, you know. So wow, that's all I can say. Best performance for me of the whole night, and I think it's one of the standout of the season. But overall for you, it's the best performance I've seen from whoever. So you're definitely on the right direction. That's all I can say. Wow, well done.